If I'm going to take over Dubrillion, I can't keep looking for allies in the same old places. The scum of the galaxy isn't as useful when you're stealing a throne. I need a better class of accomplices.
You can't steal anything big without some corrupt officials on your payroll.
There are some interesting rumors out of Dubrillion. Turns out the aristocracy is unhappy with the king. Some nobles are secretly rebelling.
Get those idiots to wipe each other out. They'll leave you a nice big power vacuum to fill.
I don't want to inherit an empty treasury, or a blood feud. Dubrillion is turning into another Alderaan. A new queen could prevent that, assuming she had the aristocracy's support. But that means taking this game to a new level. You up for that?
I'm not leaving you until you're sitting pretty on that throne. And not even then.
I'll have to find you a political appointment. Maybe something in sanitation? I've put out feelers to some key Dubrillion nobles. When one of them bites, be ready to pounce. In the meantime, we have plenty of other business to keep us occupied. I notice we're spending a lot of time together. I'm not complaining, but you know this can't go anywhere, right? Sooner or later I have to leave your ship. I don't want any hard feelings when I do. Does that make sense?
I'd rather regret you for the rest of my life than get scared off by your crazy talk.
There's just no reasoning with you. Have it your way. If you want to make something of whatever it is we have, fine. But don't say I didn't warn you. Never thought I'd say this, but you're my favorite partner in crime. You make beating the odds look easy, Captain.
What can I say? I'm inspired by a beautiful woman.
Just so we're clear, I had a snappy comeback for that line, but I'm not using it out of respect. I've definitely learned a few dirty tricks from watching you work. Think I might have found a few of my own. We'll find out at our next death-defying showdown. I can't wait. You probably think I'm chasing Dubrillion's throne to get rich, don't you?
You're a much more complicated woman than that.
You think I'm complicated, but in a good way, right? Because I am complicated. I've seen what bad leadership does to a place. Alderaan, Nar Shaddaa, even Coruscant. They all suffer because of who's in power. I'm not looking to plunder Dubrillion. I want to make it better, run their society the right way.
From everything I've heard about your homeworld, it could use someone decent in charge.
Never thought of myself as decent before. Maybe I can sell that. Every successful leader has the same strength. They're perceived as generous by their subjects. Give the people just enough of what they want, and they'll leave you alone. That's something the King of Dubrillion doesn't understand.
You can't give people what they want if you can't afford it. Maybe Dubrillion isn't as wealthy as you think.
It's wealthy enough to support an aristocracy. Of course, they need to get paid off too. I can make this work. It's all about negotiation, and I'm good at that. I'm just thinking out loud now. We should get back to business. Been thinking about our decision to keep things casual. Thought I'd make sure you're still alright with it.
In case you haven't noticed, I never stopped chasing you.
We've been running a long time. That takes real stamina. It could be years before I'm on Dubrillion's throne. Seems a shame to limit my options in the here and now. You seem to know what I like. Heard of any opportunities I should explore?
There's only one, Risha. I'll never settle for second best.
Guess who found a potential accomplice in the Dubrillian aristocracy? Feast your eyes on this hollow-embossed, genuine flimsiplast invitation. See that fancy Arabesh lettering? Hand-drawn, in ink, classy. Count Merit Rennart requests the favor of your presence at a discreet location in the Galactic Senate Tower on Coruscant at a time of your choosing.
Psh, amateurs. Like we'd ever fall for something like that.
Nobody puts this much effort into a trap. Look at all the embossing. That took sincerity. Count Rennart is one of the most popular nobles on Dubrillion. He's also secretly organizing a rebellion against the king. His invitation is addressed to Risha Drayan, royal heir to the Drayan dynasty. He's taking me very seriously.
The Count sounds like the kind of accomplice you need to overthrow the king.
I'm contacting him by holo to arrange our meeting. Wanted you here to help me get a read on him. Opening a channel. Whoa.
This is a tremendous moment, your royal heiress. I grew up hearing tales of the Drayan dynasty, the great battles your ancestors fought. I never believed I'd meet a member of that proud bloodline in person. You have my deepest sympathies for your family's exile.
We don't have all day. Stop sucking up and get to the point.
You must be the starship captain who recovered the crown of Dubrillion. My world is in your debt.
The king wants that crown, and my head. He won't be happy if he finds out we're talking.
The man has lost all reason. He must be removed from power, but in a way that spares our world a bloody civil war. I believe the common people and aristocracy alike would embrace the Drayan dynasty heir, especially if she wears the crown of Dubrillion.
Nothing is ever that easy. Skip to the part where our lives get complicated.
It will not be enough to dethrone the king. He must be replaced by someone the people view as one of their own. Right now, you are an outsider. The only way to change that is to marry someone from the existing aristocracy.
Get married? To who?
Well, the only available suitor is... Great stars, this is awkward. I am offering myself in marriage to you.
Marrying Risha would make you king, wouldn't it? How convenient.
The royal heiress would hold primacy of power. I would be her subordinate in all matters. I understand my proposal is abrupt, but I wished to make my intentions clear and not waste your valuable time. I certainly don't expect an immediate response. All I ask is that you consider this for the good of Dubrillion.
That'll be easier to do once we've met in person. I'm on my way to Coruscant. See you there, Count. Well, that wasn't awkward at all.
The nerve of that guy. Like you'd ever pick him over me.
Don't get your thrusters overheated. It's good to have friends, that's all. Under the circumstances, I should probably take this meeting alone. Be back soon, Captain. Never talked to a complete stranger for that long before. Count Rennart gives to charities, builds orphanages, creates wildlife preserves, and those are just his hobbies. You ever consider we've been wasting our lives?
I knew it. He pulled every smooth maneuver in the flight manual.
That's the thing. He wasn't smooth. He was actually kind of awkward. Stop being so paranoid. I told the Count I needed time to think about his proposal. That'll give me a chance to run a deep background check. If this guy is as good as he seems, he just might help me overthrow the king without getting married. Count Rennart is a man of his word. He sends me daily updates about his rebellion's progress. Incredibly sweet, beautifully written updates. I knew taking Dubrillion's throne would be a challenge, but this is getting complicated. I'm not falling for him, but I might have to take this marriage proposal seriously. It's smart politics.
If you think I'm letting some wealthy pretty boy come between us, guess again.
Don't you get it? My whole future will be spent with wealthy pretty people. When I am queen, my days of racing the hyperlanes are over. Can you honestly see yourself settling down on Brilliant? I'll stop bothering you. I needed to talk, and you're the only person who understands me.
I'm always here if you need me.
I'm sure there's trouble somewhere with our name on it. What do you say we go take all its credits? I can't hold off Count Rennart forever. I have to answer his marriage proposal someday. But I want to make an informed decision. I was hoping you could help me out with that. In private.
I have a lot to say on the subject. I recommend we lock your door, so our conversation isn't disturbed.
You think of everything. That was a very persuasive argument.
Sweetheart, this debate's just getting started.
You've put some thought into this. I'm, listening intently. You know, crowns and thrones aren't that great. I could maybe live without them. Or you could trade in this starship for a palace. What do you think?
You're the only treasure I need. Everything else pales in comparison.
I'm not done talking to you. Well, that was an enlightening discussion. I think I'm gonna have to disappoint the Count. But first, I need some rest. Let's talk again later. Things under Brilliant have taken a turn. The Kings put a death mark on Count Rennart's head. When the citizens heard that, they rebelled. The King imposed martial law to stop the rioting. But that got the aristocracy riled up. The whole planet's going to war.
Where do the other nobles stand? Are they with the Count or the King?
Some support Count Rennart. Others remain loyal to the King. They're all looking to benefit from the fight. Needless to say, the Count has his hands full just staying alive. But even with all that's happened, he still wants to marry me. I can't keep putting him off. Any advice how I should play this?
You can't marry the Count. You're spending the rest of your life with me.
What? I asked you for advice, not... Do you really mean that? Oh, perfect. Time's up. That's him calling on the Hollow. Alright, let's do this. Mert, I'm glad you're safe. From what I hear, the fighting got worse after you escaped.
I cannot spare Brilliant from war, but perhaps we can still create a better future together. I realize forging a true relationship takes time, and our marriage won't be consummated for some time, but I am hopeful. My proposal stands, dear Risha. Will you marry me?
Come on, this is a no-brainer. I'm sure he's rich, handsome, and popular, but I'm me.
I'm sorry, Merritt, but I can't argue with logic like that. He's had my heart longer than you. I hope we can still be friends. I'll need you to rebuild our world when the war ends.
Of course. I look forward to the day you grant me amnesty, so I may return to Brilliant. Farewell, Risha. May the stars watch over you.
That ended better than I expected. Except for that whole part with my world being at war.
You said no to the Count's proposal, but I seem to recall you had a second offer on the table.
It's under consideration. I promise not to keep you waiting for long. That's enough politics and relationship issues for one day. Let's go steal something expensive. I always feel better after a good caper. Didn't think you could still surprise me, but proposing in front of Count Rennart, that was a whammy. I wasn't sure if you were serious then. But I am now. And my answer is yes. Whatever happens, however long it takes, when I'm finally Queen of Dubrillion, you'll be my king.
You think the people of your world are ready for a guy like me?
No one's ready for you. That's what makes you perfect. We'll have a royal wedding someday, but let's do something personal right now. I, Risha Drayan, take you as my future king. I promise to be faithful and always apologize when I get snippy with you, except when you're wrong.
What you said, plus this. I'll never skim more than 10% off the royal treasury.
Only 10%? You really do love me. What do you say we make this even more official? So, how does it feel to be married?
Come to my quarters this time. I've made some modifications for you.
How can I resist that offer? You never told me you were an engineering genius. I'm staying in the captain's quarters from now on. It occurs to me that with the Void Wolf dead, we've run out of trouble. Let's go make more. I've been thinking about the future a lot lately, and I had a funny realization. Every scenario I see, you're in it. I guess that's only right, all things considered. But still, never thought I'd get this close to anyone.
You've traveled a long way. If you had to do it again, would you change anything?
The harder the flight, the sweeter the landing. And we're still flying. When we take over Dubrillion, we'll need to start thinking about producing an heir. Maybe more than one heir. That's how dynasties stay healthy, after all.
Where in the world did you get the idea I'd be a responsible parent?
I didn't say you were going to raise them. I'm not stupid. Just think, someone with my intelligence and your reflexes, there's nothing that child couldn't accomplish. We owe it to Dubrillion. Whatever happens, I promise any child of ours will have the best of everything.